Hi, in this session we'll have a look at four different types of questions that come in the verbal ability section of an aptitude test. One is odd word out, then we have jumbled sentences or para-jumbles, and we'll also have a look at synonyms and antonyms. So let's start with odd word out. So in this particular section, as is written in the explanation, it tests the candidate's ability, reasoning ability that is, to identify and recognize patterns. That is, you get a set of words, maybe 4 words or 5 words, and you need to find out one particular word which is out of context in terms of relationships. So let us have a look at an example so you can understand better. As you can see, there are 5 words given over here: an arrow, axe, knife, dagger, and sword. So what you can understand is all these items are used to attack. These are all weapons, right? But let's find out which one is the odd word from this set. So as you can see, the explanation and the answer, it says that an axe, knife, dagger, and sword are items or weapons which are used in short range. That is, when you attack with an axe or a knife or a dagger or a sword, the other person, or maybe if it is a tree, you would probably use an axe. So this is used for cutting only in short range, whereas you can use an arrow from a long range. So that's the difference, and the odd word over here would be arrow. Let's have a look at one more example. This is another type, slightly on the higher level. As you can see, a tree, an apple tree, there are flowers, there's a pine tree, and fruits. Now you must be wondering what kind of an odd word can I find out from this. An apple tree bears fruits, that is, it becomes an apple. The tree grows apples. Flowers also grow from a small pod to a flower. And then when you look at fruits, these are also similar to the apple tree, where the final product is fruits. But as you see in the explanation, a pine tree is a gymnosperm. It doesn't bear flowers, whereas in all the other 3 choices, you can see that there is a growth, and then the final product is a flower or a fruit, whereas a pine tree doesn't grow any product. It only has leaves, right? Okay, so C is the odd word out in this case. Let's have a look at a few more sets of words. Point number 1 says cover, mask, facade, cavern, and front. So now you can see that the cover is used to hold something or hide something. Similarly, a mask is used to protect yourself. It is a cover. A facade is also something that protects you from others. A front is also in terms of a protection, whereas a cavern is a cave. It's totally different from the other words. So the odd word out over here is cavern. When we see point number 2, set number 2, it says filthy, stingy, dirty, grimy, unclean. As you can see, all these are negative words. But then when you're talking about dirt, you obviously say that it is a filthy place. That means it's very dirty. Whereas grime is, what can you say, kitchen dirt, greasy stuff. All right. Obviously, unclean also means that there is a lot of dirt. But the word stingy stands out. It is the odd word out over here. Stingy means not spending money. So that is totally different from being dirty. So as you can see, the odd word out is stingy. When we look at point number 3, that is set number 3, it says hint, which is also equal to clue. and then there is warranty, there is implication and suggestion. So obviously you give a hint also means that you give a suggestion. Even if you imply something, that is implication, that's also a hint. Whereas warranty is a totally different meaning. You have a warranty for a product, so that is nowhere in connection with hint or clue or a suggestion. So warranty is the odd word out over here. Next we see set number 4, reduce, demolish, diminish, decrease, abate. Now reduce and decrease obviously mean the same, that is become lesser in quantity or quality. Abate also means to reduce in quality or quantity. Diminish obviously means to become less in quality or quantity, whereas demolish means destruction. So as you can see, 4 words mean reduction, but demolish means destruction. So demolish is the odd word out over here. Let's see the last set, set number 5. Educated, learned, erudite, advocated, and knowledgeable. So as you can see, 4 of these words refer to wisdom or knowledge. As you can see, educated, learned mean the same. That means you have a lot of knowledge. Obviously knowledgeable is also related. Erudite, an erudite person is a very wise person filled with a lot of knowledge. So the odd word out over here is advocated. Okay. So let's go to the next concept, which is jumbled sentences. So here you get a set of sentences which are in the wrong order of logical continuation. That is, it's not cohesive. So in the sense, you need to rearrange these sentences in a proper order. So these are also called para-jumbles in most of the aptitude tests in the verbal section. So the explanation is given over here, but it would be easier if we have a look at this with an example. So as you can see, the direction for the question is choose the correct arrangement of sentences as indicated by the number to make a coherent paragraph. Coherence means flow of thought. So the flow should be pretty logical in terms of when you have a transition from one sentence to another. So they have given the answer as C. Let's directly get to the answer and see how the logic flows. So it says the first sentence. Now when you start with when you look at the first sentence for a jumbled sentence question type, you always look for a generalized statement. Okay, so among the 6 statements that are given over here, the most general statement is point number 2, which says the state of Jammu and Kashmir became theoretically independent on 15th August 1947. This is a general statement which just says about the independence of Jammu and Kashmir. So let us see how point number 4 comes next. It was invaded by marauders and Pakistani forces in October 1947. Now as you can see, obviously 1947 and 1947 match, but you must be wondering how statement number 4 comes after 2. So you can do that by using the pronoun it. It must refer to something. So it refers to Jammu and Kashmir over here, the state of Jammu and Kashmir. That is why statement number 4 comes after 2. Let's see what can be the continuation of this. Next they say is statement number 3. The Maharaja of the state, in order to save the state, acceded to India on October 26, 1947. As you can see, after 15th August comes October 26. Obviously it can't be statement number 5 because that has happened in November. That is 1957, that too, 10 years later. So obviously statement number 3 should continue with statement number 4, right? Then comes statement number 6. The government of India accepted the accession. Now this is your clue. Since in statement number 3 you already have a mention of acceded to India, and the next statement talks about accepting the accession, it makes logical flow. It makes logical sense, right? Next, after statement number 6, we go to statement number 1. Now, in statement number 6, Government of India accepted the accession subject to confirmation of the same by the people of the state. What happened after this? Because of this accession, this made Jammu and Kashmir a part of India. So the logical flow is maintained there too. Okay? And then finally you have the 5th point, which says the accession was confirmed by the people of the state through their Constituent Assembly on November 17, 1957, which is 10 years later. Okay? So in terms of logical flow, please look for pronouns. Please look for certain words which refer to a previous sentence. That's how you can make sure that the coherence is maintained in the paragraph. Okay, let's have a look at one more. If you read through this, you can see that statement number 2 is a generalized statement. It says most computer users develop disorders because they ignore warnings like tingling fingers, a numb hand, or a sore shoulder. Then we can go for statement number 3, because they keep pointing means they refers to computer users. So obviously this can come next in the logical flow. They keep pointing and dragging until tendons chafe and scar tissue forms, along with bad habits that are almost impossible to change. Then what can we go for? Can we go for point number 4 or point number 1? I think we can go for point number 1, because along with the scar tissue forms, we need some solution for these scar tissue forms, tendon chafe. So because of the damage that these computer users face, we can make sure that in order to solve these problems, we need some painkillers, ice yoga. These are all solutions for the problems that computer users developed. Okay, but then finally cures are elusive because repetitive stress injuries present a bag of ills that often defy easy diagnosis. But even though we have painkillers and all these solutions, cures are elusive. It means even if you use these, it's pretty difficult to solve the damage that is done. So as you can see, the flow goes with 2, 3, 1 and 4. Alright, let's have a look at one more. So what can be the generalized statement which we can start with? I think we can start with statement number 3, which says when the RBI governor came to inaugurate the new printing press, the local unit of the BJP handed him a gift wrap box. So this guy came to a press and he was given a box. What happens after that? He obviously opened the box, right? So can we go with point number 2? The unsuspecting governor opened the box in full view of the gathering. So he got the box in statement number 3. Then he opened the box. Then what happens? There must have been something inside the box. So what came out? We go to statement number 1. What came out was a very large garland made out of currency notes. But then finally there was a twist. How were the notes? The notes were all as tattered as the notes could get. Tattered in the sense maybe crushed or not in proper form. That's what tattered means. So as you can see, the flow is 3, 2, 1 and then 4. So these are jumbled sentences. Please make sure that you identify the flow using keywords that are there in each sentence. Always start with a generalized statement. Okay, let's have a look at one more. So as you can see, this is a small paragraph. I think we can start with point number 2, where a generalized statement says Dubai-based Vin Gautam, who is the accused in the 50 crore before guns kickback case. Then what happens? He arrived here on Sunday by an early morning flight. So we go with 2, 3 and then 1. What happened after that? He is scheduled to appear in the trial court by Wednesday. So this rearrangement was pretty simple. Okay, let's go to the next concept, which is synonyms. Synonyms are basically meanings. So this is the format that they ask when they ask about synonyms. So let us see a few examples. About 4 examples are available in this slide. Ponder. Ponder means to think, as simple as that. So basically your vocabulary is very important when you are looking at answering synonyms or antonyms. You can also use multiple choice test taking strategies by eliminating a few words that are totally unrelated to what the main word means. Let's have a look at the second synonym, which is shiver. Shiver means to tremble or shake. So the answer is C. Then we have prestige. Prestige means name in society. It's they may be rich people, but they may be quite famous. So that's what prestige actually means. He's got a good name in society, so he is a prestigious person. So here again the answer is C. Fourth one, torture means to harass, cause a lot of harm to people. It's a negative word. So here again the answer is C. Let's have a look at this last slide, which is antonyms. Antonyms means opposite words. As is given the example, bad and good are opposites. Let's have a look at 4 types, four questions. First one is legalize. Legalize means to make something legal. What can be the opposite of that is to ban. To ban something means if a product is illegal, to illegalize something, for example drugs, which cause harm to society. So obviously drugs are banned in all countries. So opposite of legalize is ban. In question number 2, you see mourn. When someone dies, you mourn. That means you cry. It's a sad moment when somebody dies. So obviously the opposite, mourn means to cry, but here we are looking at antonyms. So opposite of mourn is rejoice. Rejoice means to enjoy. So the answer for second one would be A. The third one, oppress. Oppress means to suppress. So what can be the antonym of that? Suppress means not allow. So the opposite of that is permit. Permit means to allow. So the answer for the third one is D, permit. The last question, attach. Obviously the opposite of that is detach. Pretty simple question. Okay. So in today's session we saw 4 topics. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye bye.